Well, hi there. I am Andrea Watkins, and if you're listening to this while juggling 3 patient calls, checking in a couple patients, taking a payment, selling skincare, and trying to catch your doctor in between procedures, you might be working in an aesthetic practice.
And I'm Blake Lucas, and this is Practiceland. This is not your doctor's podcast. All right, Andrea, it's your turn now. I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'd love to get to know you a little bit more and kind of where you're coming from and what we're trying to accomplish here today, right? So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I currently live in Denver. I've been there for about 12 years, via Las Vegas for 10 years, and grew up in the Midwest in Michigan.
Oh, okay, nice. Whereabouts in Michigan?
Tiny town with 1 traffic light. I had 54 kids in my graduating class, and I graduated from the same high school that my father graduated from.
Oh, wow.
So tiny town, small town girl.
Wow, that's amazing. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell me about what do you do now? What is your current role?
So about 7 years ago, transitioned into the aesthetics industry and was the chief operating officer for a large plastics practice in Denver. And in my time there, we saw about 3x growth for a established practice.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I learned a lot of great things from a lot of great people. And then we messed up a lot of things. We learned a lot of great lessons.
Yeah.
And then just continued to grow our team and our practice, and had a really good time, developed some great relationships, met some incredible people, patients and team members, and then got out of the practice directly. And now I work for Studio 3 Marketing as our VP of Conversion Coaching. So basically what I do is use our software called LeadLoop to help track, manage leads, and then analyze data that we're able to capture through this whole process to figure out exactly what is working and what is not working in the practice when it comes to the systems, the process, the people, and the marketing.
Wow.
So that we can optimize everything and serve more people with less effort and generate more revenue.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's super cool. I love my job. I get to help people every day.
Oh, that's fantastic. Tell me a little bit about your role back in at that plastic surgery office there. And it sounds like there was tremendous growth.
Yeah, I think for me, I get the most, my needs are met the most when I'm able to help other people grow and elevate and achieve things. And so as I learned from other people in the industry and just through years and years of experience, my biggest takeaway from that was that I really feel the best when I'm helping other people do better for themselves, whether it's helping patients live better lives because they feel more comfortable in their own skin, or it's empowering my team with knowledge, tools, and training so that they can do better, earn more money for themselves, and feel better about what they're doing. So it was a great experience for me just to grow as a professional and help people.
So tell me, how did you get roped into this podcast on Practiceland? What maybe brought you here?
Yes, for sure. So we have an incredible team at Studio 3, and they've been in aesthetics for, over a decade and have lots of connections. And a person who knew a person who knew a person, we all kind of got connected. We saw each other at ASPS in Vancouver last year, didn't even realize that we would have a connection like we do. Yeah. And so just made some introductions, talked to a few people, and was asked if I wanted to come on and provide some support, some knowledge, and help people learn.
Fantastic. So when we think about this Practiceland podcast, there's so many other podcasts out there. What do you think sets Practiceland apart from any other run-of-the-mill type of podcast you might be able to download right now?
Yeah, great question. I think what we're really striving to do is to talk and speak the language of the folks that do the work in the practice every day. I have sat up front when their phone is ringing. I've got 2 patients in front of me. I have another phone ringing. I've got emails coming in. I need to scan. I have a nurse behind me that needs something. And so through these experiences, we can talk and help other people kind of fast track of what works, what doesn't, what are tools that we can provide, what's the education we can provide to help people maybe not struggle and enjoy their job a little bit more and get more out of it for the practice, but also for themselves. Yeah. I think when you're kind of isolated, you just work in a practice, you maybe don't go to conferences, you don't talk to other people in the industry, you don't really quite understand the bigger picture or what's really out there and available to help you do the very best job you can and to get the most out of it for yourself.
Right.
Like, are there things that maybe I should be proposing that I can help the practice with that will also help me maybe earn more money for myself or get some incentives or maybe some free product or something like that? Because people in our industry, we like to be pretty. We like to actually use our products so that we can, sell them and show the benefits to our patients too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would love just to provide a lot of the information and value that I've learned through the years to help people elevate themselves.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think, hopefully we can accomplish that here. I think it would be fantastic if we can provide that kind of value to any kind of practice or coordinator that's out there listening. So
yeah.
I've also loved that you're in that practice, right? You're in the trenches, you're in the binds, answering those calls and doing the work that, so many of our listeners have or are doing right now. Tell me maybe like a story or an interesting case that you may have had that was really difficult or, one of those ones where it's like, oh, this one I remember, it's never going away.
You were talking about PTSD earlier, right? Yeah. We're going to take it back to that. There's really only one awful experience that I remember having. And, something that we need to know when we're answering the phone, like there's definitely a skill set to answering the phone. And a lot of times people just call and say, can I get the price of X, Y, and Z? Can I get this? Can I get that? And we can't really even answer their questions until we know a little bit more about them.
Right. Yeah. There's so much more content to that. You can't just come in. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's way more nuance to
yeah, like you could ask me what's the price to a tummy tuck, but you don't even need a tummy tuck. You just want lipo or something like that. And we don't know those things until we ask questions. Right. And so in our practice, we had a very structured system where someone calls in and I was sitting up front covering for, I had 2 front desk people. One was out on vacation, one was sick. So I'm up front answering the phone in the trenches doing all the things. And a lady called and she says, she's like, yeah, how much does a tummy tuck cost? And I was like,
okay, here we go.
Yeah, I was like, here we go. So I just give, the answer. I can definitely help you with that. What I'd love to have you do is talk to one of our patient care coordinators. They're going to be able to ask you questions to make sure that's the right procedure for you. Right. And then they'll be able to give you information about the procedure, the recovery, the pricing, and go through all of that. And she said, well, I just want a price. And I was like, well, I don't have that information at the front desk because the patient care coordinator is really going to be the one that needs to ask the right questions so she can give you the correct answer. Well, don't you just have a price for a tummy tuck? And I was like, there's probably a range, but I don't have that here at the front desk. Again, a PCC is going to be able to ask the right questions to be able to give you that information.
To really help.
And she said, I hope you die.
What?
I swear.
No way.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yes. And I was kind of shell shocked and I'm like, I'm really sorry that I'm not able. And then she just hung up.
I can't believe you just hang up right then.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to be nice. You always have to be polite and, try and serve the customer, try and serve the patient. So that one will always stick out and we had LeadLoop, our platform where we record all our calls. We can see all the communications, whatever.
Back a few times, I'm sure.
So many times we listen back to it.
Yeah.
And my team, they were all just like, Andrea, what is wrong? Because I just had this shell shock look on my face. And I said, you guys, listen. We just play on repeat. Yeah. But it was pretty incredible.
Man, I definitely had those same type of experiences. I feel like those ones stick with me for sure.
Yeah.
And I always wonder but I don't think you can do anything different in those situations. Some people just don't have it. They just want to be mean and it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Well, and ultimately, if someone is a loose cannon and maybe she's had a bad day.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody kicked her cat. I have no idea. I have no idea what happened that day with her. But I do also know that my job as a leader in that practice too was to protect my team.
Yeah.
And that would be a red flag. I don't know that I would want them as a patient in our practice anyway.
Yeah. Because once they do get in the door, then that's, someone that you're going to have to work with. Right. And those are those patients who are like, man, I really wish I didn't answer the call that day. Yep. Like I'd rather just, quit on that patient and have them go somewhere else. Cause it's just so, it's a domino, right? And it ruins so many other people's day, right? And it's
100%.
one of those things where it's like, man, there's so much drama from day one.
100%.
We should have just said no, right?
Well, we had a red flag rule. If there were 2 red flags between the front and the PCCs, that I would then call, feel them out, and then kindly break up with them and say, we really want to make sure that you meet your goals are met and that your expectations are met. And based on the interactions that we've had, we just don't feel that we're going to be that practice that can really help you, because we want you to be happy, and we're already not starting off on a great foot because you're already mad.
Yeah.
So we want you to have a great experience, and
We just don't think we can do that for you.
yeah.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
I hope more practices do that.
Yeah.
Because it's so important sometimes. It's hard to say no to customers. It seems so backwards, but it makes so much sense. And because it's only going to come back
Right.
to bite you guys. It's such a horrible situation.
Well, so many patients, they believe that they have the right to be served no matter what.
Right.
And I think that we all need to take a step back sometimes. And, we all also have the right to be respected and respectful.
Yeah.
So if you're not giving respect from the get-go,
We'll cut it off.
yeah.
Good move. I'm sure there's some really interesting stories from those. I wonder how those breakups went.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I guess so.
It's hard. It's so funny when you try and tell people, I'm sorry, I don't want to take your money. And it only truly in 6 years maybe happened 5 times.
Wow.
So it wasn't something that I'm not trying to kick patients out. Clearly that's not how we're getting 3x our revenue.
Yeah, right.
But we do, to your point, it does have a domino effect on the team and the people who are at the front desk. We're on the front lines. We're on in the trenches.
Yeah.
We're having these relationships with patients. And in most cases, all of us are doing it because we do care about people and we want to help them.
Yeah, right.
So then if you have somebody who just comes in is always kicking you in the face, it just demoralizes your team, which that costs so much.
Yeah, I don't think you can put a number on that. I think, just the hit to morale and those types of things, it's so difficult to keep a company culture positive, right?
When it's the patient can come in and say, I hope you fucking die, and do nothing about it. You're like, wow, does anyone care about me here? It's so critical that as leaders of practices, whether you're an owner or you're a manager or practice manager, whatever, that you're really making sure that you're protecting your team.
Yeah.
As well as providing them, that support.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I love the stories, and we're going to get into a lot more of those, I'm sure. Got a wild customer service story or a sticky patient situation? Send us a message or voicemail. If your tale makes it into our She Did What segment, we'll send a thank you gift you'll actually love. Promise, no cheap swag here.
Are you one of us? Subscribe for new episode notifications and more at practicelandpodcast.com. New episodes drop weekly on YouTube and everywhere you can listen to podcasts.